Well, hey there, all you rockaholics and CGCM Rock Radio faithful. Welcome into another edition of Rock Talk. My name is Bob Bannister. I'm your host. And you know me that I love to discover brand new music from all over the world. And, I've never talked to any band out of Brazil. That is until the other day. I discovered this brand new band called Mother Trouble. Well, brand new to me anyway. They formed back during the pandemic, back in 2019, somewhere around there. We'll let them tell us more about that. But they've got a really great sound, very classic rock. I hear shades of Deep Purple. I hear shades of early Kiss. We'll discuss that as well. It's a whole lot of fun. I hope you enjoy it. Like I said, these guys, they're very new. They've just got a little bit of music out there, and they're in the studio recording some brand new music as we speak. So let's step inside the Rock Talk studio and chat with my new friend Filipe from the band Mother Trouble, right here on Rock Talk, where we talk rock, because that's how we roll. So let's welcome in our first guest to Rock Talk here from Sao Paulo, Brazil, from the band Mother Trouble, my new friend Filipe. How you doing, Filipe?
I'm fine. And you, Bob? How's it going?
Going very, very well. So, my friend, tell us the story of Mother Trouble.
Well, we started back in 2019, some months before the pandemic. So we kind of had like 7 months to work on the first EP. Mm-hmm. And we got the chance to do the opening act for Brent Bjork, a former Kyle's member. And then things were going well, and then the pandemic came. It hit us hard because we were not able to perform, to play the new songs that we were releasing back then. And then we kind of waited a little bit to wrap up the album, and we kind of didn't because we released as a second EP. So if you take a look on our Spotify, our first 2 EPs, if you add them together, they form an album, but we never did it properly,
Right. So one could be the A side, the other one the B side.
Yeah, exactly. That's pretty much it.
So tell us, where does the name Mother Trouble come from? That's an interesting name.
Actually, we were just like kind of trying to find a good name. But I had this name Mothership, but I believe there are other bands with this name. Mm-hmm. And George said Trouble because there is a 70s band called Trouble.
Right.
And I kind of liked, he said, oh, we should add Trouble. And I don't know, we were trying to come up with a name. And then I said, well, maybe Mother Trouble, but what does it mean? And I was saying, oh, maybe that's the main trouble, like
the
Mother Trouble. So it was like we were sitting at the bar trying to figure it out, the name that we should choose.
That's cool. Now, you mentioned some 70s stuff. I've been listening to your music and stuff like that. I hear a lot of classic rock influences, Deep Purple, even some early Kiss as well. Is that where you guys draw your influences from?
Yeah, especially George, the guitar player. He's a Kiss addict,
Right.
I think it's probably Kiss is his favorite band. And yeah, you're completely right. Like, I believe that the 70s are a huge influence, but we do like some new stuff like Jack White, mm-hmm. The Vintage Caravan, the Helicopter. So we try to balance these influences like between the 70s and the early 2000s, the late 90s as well.
Hmm.
Um, which I believe that we each decade has like its own definition, but I believe that the 70s, in my opinion, is the best decade when it comes to rock and roll. You know.
Absolutely, absolutely. It was such a gold mine of rock and roll back then. I mean, just so many great bands exploding all the time. And I kind of think, and maybe I'm wrong on this, it almost feels like right now in 2025, we're almost in a very similar situation where it just seems like there's bands coming out left, right, and center, and so much good stuff.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, and I do believe that we need to do our homework and dig these bands, you know, because they are not mainstream. But fortunately, nowadays, it's much easier than before to discover new bands. You know,
Mm-hmm.
whenever you are listening to Spotify or on YouTube, um, well, you are like digging and you discover new bands all the time. So
Exactly. One of the most important features is that recommendations that they always throw at you. And I always go there first and see what they're asking me to listen to. And that's how I discovered you guys was
oh, that's awesome.
through the recommendations I listened. I'm like, oh, I got to talk to these guys. These guys cook. These guys are awesome.
Yeah, and you see it like we are pretty much underground, you know. So if you are able to discover us, I think that there's the biggest advantage of nowadays, the way
Absolutely.
of consuming music, right?
Yeah, because the big labels, they're not doing it for anybody else. They're just promoting the product that they already have. And then the few acts that they do pick up, they're, I don't know, I don't want to say burning them out really fast, but yeah, that's what it feels like to me anyway.
Yeah, they are just aiming for the profit, and I believe that since they are not selling records anymore, what they are trying to do is to I don't know like which is the correct way of putting this, but I believe that the record labels they are also responsible for touring nowadays and
Mhm.
also merchandise. So they try to extract everything from it, and at the end of the day, like they are not thinking about albums anymore. I guess they are thinking more about EPs, singles, right?
Yeah, yeah. Now it's interesting that you mentioned that. I've talked to a lot of artists, and that's the way that they see things going in the future. Is you just constantly release a bunch of singles, maybe a few weeks apart, and then maybe sometime down the road you put them all together as an album, but
Yeah,
put them on your page, and that's it. That's your product. Is that the way
ex-
things you see things going?
yes, exactly. And I also think that it's like a double-edged sword because most of the audience nowadays, I'm not saying like we rock and rollers, but
Mm.
like the mainstream listeners, they just want to listen like to one or three songs, you
Yeah.
know, and they don't have patience to listen to the whole album. Sometimes I get really angry at some critics that I read, like, oh, I don't know, the Queens of the Stone Age has released a new album, and then you read it like one day later, there's a magazine or a forum saying, "Oh, this album is not that nice because of this and that." But come on, like you have just listened to it once. Like, how can you come up with a whole form's opinion? You know, I think that there are albums that I listened like three or four times, and then I was getting into it. You know,
Mhm.
understanding the whole concept. So yeah,
Yeah, exactly. You can't base your opinion of an album on the first listening because personally speaking, when Def Leppard released Diamond Stars Halos a few years ago, I hated it when I first heard it. But then I went back to it a few weeks later and went, you know what? This is actually pretty good. It's all
yeah, you
that
see
frame
it.
of mind.
It happens to me all the time. You know,
Yeah.
of course there are albums that you know that is something really really like I would say like inspiring or something that was really well taught, and it demands time, you know, like the new Opeth album. At
Yes.
first I listened to it and I was like, okay, that's cool. But then I listened to it like 2 or 3 times, and I said, "Wow, it's one of their best albums," you know. And I've heard people saying that it was their worst album.
Yeah, I really hate that. I really hate that. I mean, there's a band out of Montreal that I really really like, and I'm going to be talking to them in a little bit as well. They're called Sick Things, and
Sick Things.
yes,
No.
they're just an upstart band as and their sound is very much Thin Lizzy.
Oh, that's
And,
nice. I'm
and
gonna
the first time I
listen to
heard them, I
them.
went, it's a cover band. But then,
Yeah, you know, it's crazy, like, right? Because sometimes it takes time to really understand what is going on there, right?
yes, yes,
Like
yes,
like it took me years to get into Mastodon. You know,
yep.
they are my favorite band nowadays, but it took me like I don't know how many times I listened to them, and I thought, well, I cannot label them, and that's the interesting thing about them because I cannot label them. You can say that they are like sludge, stoner metal, or even like pop metal. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah, it's really interesting. So is that who you are listening to these days? Is Mastodon? Who else is coming up on your playlist?
Well, I listened a lot to the Helicopters
Mhm.
throughout the pandemic. Also, Imperial State Electric. Mostly all the Nicky Anderson's bands, you know. And of course, I have been listening to Mastodon for years now, Opeth, but I do also like this kind of retro rock. I think that you could say that bands like the Vintage Caravan, Cadaver, what else? There's a band from Sweden that they are really interesting. They are called Hallas. I
Okay,
don't know if
yep.
I'm pronouncing it correctly, but I discovered them through Instagram, and I thought they were really like progressive and weird in a good way, you know. Um, well, I have been listening to lots of bands on Spotify that I can even remember their names, but uh, I I start adding them to a playlist of new discoveries, and there are a bunch of them. I believe there is a band. I don't know if they are from Canada or USA. They are called Ancient,
Hmm.
and
I'm gonna
they
have to look
are
them up.
yeah, they are a crazy mix of Opeth with Mastodon with a bunch of other things. There is this band called Blood Incantation. I don't know where they're from, probably USA.
More than likely.
And yeah, and they released a new album. I discovered it through Mike Portnoy because he
Okay.
posted,
Yep.
and well, it's a metal album like that death metal, and then all of the sudden it goes all Pink Floydish, you know, with clean vocals, beautiful guitar. So it's a really interesting album.
That does sound really interesting. Now, do you have any advice you would give to a band that's just starting out, just brand new, fresh, that you wish somebody had said to you when you were starting your journey?
Well, it will sound a little bit cheesy and cliche, but I would say like believe in yourself, believe in your band, because otherwise nobody will, you know.
Mhm.
Because there are times that okay, I'm gonna find a producer or a manager or something like that or a coach, uh, and these people will tell you what you need to do in order to reach success or to achieve. Um, but well, I don't know, like if you have a true, honest music, I believe that at the end of the day, this is what really matters, you know,
Mhm.
because if you're doing it for the money, of course, everybody wants to earn money with their own art, but if you're doing it just for money, then you're not doing the right thing, you know. But if you're doing it for passion, I do believe that you're doing something that you believe in, and you should totally like go for it, you know.
Excellent. That's a good piece of advice. What would you say is on your musical bucket list?
Oh, my music bucket list, probably Rush. I would say that now
Yeah.
that they confirms that they are back, probably it's one of the bands that I wish I could have had the opportunity to watch live, but unfortunately, I think that they came to Brazil 3 times,
Hmm.
and so but it was not possible to attend their last time here.
Yeah, and this current tour that they're going out on, I think they're only playing like 6 or 8 cities or something like that, and it's North
Yeah,
America. Tickets are just going to be absolutely stupid expensive.
you should totally try, right?
Yeah, yeah. I got to pass it by my wife first so I can, can I have the credit card?
She will approve it.
I hope so. So before we wrap things up here, I'd like to do a little thing called this or that, just some rapid fire questions. So we're going
Okay.
to start off. Yeah, this kind of proves that I've got a sweet tooth. Let's see here. Ice cream or cake?
That's a tough one, but I would say ice cream.
Dark chocolate or milk chocolate?
Milk chocolate.
Scary movies or funny movies?
I would say funny movies, but I do also I do like some horror movies.
Android or iPhone?
I'm an iPhone guy. I know
Pineapple.
that I'm wrong, but I'm an iPhone guy.
Hey, there's stuff. Hey, I don't discriminate. I'm an Android guy, but I know a lot of my friends are iPhone people too. Pineapple on pizza? Yes or no?
Yes, and there is the Papa John's one, which is pretty good.
Yep, yep. And finally, here's one for you. What's your World Cup prediction?
My World Cup prediction. Wow. Um, of course, if I would say that. Of course, I'm supporting Brazil, but but I really don't know, man. Oh, that's a tough one, but um, I would like to see a really random team winning the next World Cup.
There we go. There we
Uh,
go.
like I don't know, South Africa, some
That
kind
would
of
be
team.
that
That
would
would
be
be
interesting.
interesting.
That would be interesting. Or maybe the one that has eluded ever or has eluded it all this time, England.
Yeah, exactly. Like they were really close last time, right?
Yep.
If I'm not wrong, it was the previous World Cup.
Yep.
Uh, so they were saying like bringing it home, something like that, coming home,
That's
right?
yep.
Was their motto, right?
Yep.
So yeah, but it's going to be an interesting World Cup. 3 countries like Mexico, Canada, and the US.
Yep. Yeah, that's going to be a fun one.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to understand how it's going to work.
Yeah, yeah, me too. All right, Filipe from the band Mother Trouble from Sao Paulo, Brazil. Give us your website, give us your socials.
Well, our Instagram page is at mother_trouble. You can find us on Spotify, any streaming service. Uh, and I think that's pretty much it. We don't have a proper website, but we do have we are in mostly all the social medias, I guess. I think even on TikTok.
All right. Excellent. And I want to thank you for joining us on this edition of Rock Talk, my friend Filipe. Let's keep in touch.
Let's keep in touch, man. Thank you so much for the invitation. It was a pleasure to be here.
And I want to thank you for joining us on this edition of Rock Talk right here with CGCM Rock Radio on YouTube.